Hi, it's day number 79 in our Route 66 journey through the Bible. We're beginning Judges. We've done a few sessions here in Judges. We're reading just two chapters today, Judges chapter 6 and chapter 7. One judge, it's Gideon, one of my favorites. Gideon is a very unlikely judge. Israel had sinned. God let the Midianites oppress them for 7 years. They were so scared of them that they were hiding in the caves because the Midianites would come and steal their crops. When they cried out to God, God raised up Gideon. He was going to be the next judge. Gideon was so unsure of himself, but God sent an angel to him and said, "The Lord is with you." And this is what the King James, mighty man of valor. What does that mean? Mighty warrior. He was not a mighty warrior, but God saw the potential in him. And Gideon still doubted. And he asked God, in this chapter, he asked God for a sign, making the fleece wet while the ground was dry. God did it. Making vice versa, making the ground dry, vice versa. And God did both of that. God was patient with his doubts. And that's a wonderful lesson, how God is patient with even our doubts. Then Judges chapter 7, we find the battle. Gideon defeats the Midianites. So they gather the army together. They say that there was an estimate of 250 to 300,000 Midianites, and there were just 32,000 Jews. But God decided that he would whittle it down. You can read it, how he whittled it down to just 300 people. Why? So that they would know the victory came from God, not because they were so strong. God encouraged Gideon because he let him overhear one of the other soldiers, the enemy soldiers, talk about a dream that predicted Israel's victory. And he said, "We've got this. God's behind us." They used a small army, this 300 people. They used torches, trumpets, and shouts to cause some confusion among the Midianites in the middle of the night. They began to fight each other, and they won the victory. It's crazy, but God did that. God sometimes uses unusual means to do his purposes, and that's exactly what he did with this one. So here's a couple of lessons from chapter 6. God sees the potential in us. We often see our weaknesses or the weaknesses of others. God looks at our potential. Without God, we're not much. With God, nothing is impossible. All things are possible with God. Even when we don't believe in ourselves, if he calls us, he'll equip us and he'll cause a victory to come. So if God believes in you, you should believe in yourself. Then Judges chapter 7, God doesn't need big numbers or strong people to do what he wants. God works simply through people who trust him. It's faith, not fear, that brings a victory. Faith, trust in God. And that's how God always brings the victory. There's an old song, faith is the victory. And it sure was with Gideon when he won that battle. So be encouraged.